was never really good playing role of the puppet. Too busy being me to be concerned with perception of the public. Everyone is buzzing, but everybody ain't thinking about a budget. I want ownership in something. Niggas get they way.
Man, I'm so glad Diddy free, bro. You know, the reason is because I'm tired of seeing us black moguls get took down like that, bro. Like, and I'm tired of seeing us black people go against us black moguls like that. And I feel like if Diddy was a white man who done all this shit for people, you know, I know he ain't paid people, but if he done all this shit for hip-hop, if he was white, they would have had so many white people out there protesting for this man losing his life behind a relationship, you know. And people always, boosie was on Diddy's side. Nah, it ain't that. It's because I'm thinking about 7 children. Y'all thinking about one person. I'm thinking about these 7 kids who been in my kid's position. Not knowing if your daddy gonna come home or not is a burden on the child. So all y'all was like, no, I'm thinking about them damn children, man. So, man, I'm glad he free, bro. You know, like I've been said, I don't feel he was guilty of nothing. You know, nothing but domestic violence. You know, but the court spoke, man, and man, I'm happy that dude children, man. I know his feeling right now, bro. I'm just happy for them children, man. So, you know, Diddy, sit your ass down somewhere. That's what you need to do. Grab Stevie J and your children and get the fuck on.
Told y'all he was gonna get off. I said it. I said, look, he ain't going to jail. All y'all comedians that's making all those jokes. He saw it. I cut my joke out the special. I was like, no, because he coming home. Come on, baby. I just think it's funny because he ain't invite none of y'all to his Holy Ghost party, because that's what's going to be. Him and Kurt Franklin going to do a song together called Anointed Oil. And I'm telling you, watch. Because this was God's mercy right here. I don't care what nobody say. This was all God's mercy. And that's the mercy that you can't mess up again. If you do something after God done got you off, God and a great lawyer, this was all God. This was all God. But I knew it. I felt it. If I was praying, like, he gonna get it off. Unless something else shifted in the matrix. But all y'all that was making those jokes, he saw him. And you ain't invited to the anointed oil party.
My prediction, that he's gonna get out to a concert, Central Park. It's gonna be the biggest free concert since Diana Ross. Central Park. He's on the end of a song, More Money, No Problems. And it's gonna rain. You heard it here first.
Yeah, man. I told you this case was a waste of taxpayer money. Shut up. We don't even talk like that. That's not even a phrase we say. That's a white people phrase, a waste of taxpayers' money. You know what I mean? You acting like you looked on your check and it said federal tax withholding, $375.80, and Diddy trial tax holding, $128.35. Man, y'all crack me up, man. Just be happy with the verdict and move.
Guilty in a federal Rico trial. Wow. I didn't know what was going to happen. It's people surprised, it's people happy, it's people angry. It was actual supporters of his dousing themselves in baby oil in front of the courtroom. Diddy himself fell to his knees when he heard the verdict, which we heard throughout the trial was not an uncommon position for him. But this is what I want to know. Who is this lawyer, Brian Steele? Where he go to school at? This the real life Saul Goodman. Turning on Brian Steele. He got Young Thug and Diddy off. Rico in 1 calendar year. Tearing and the sex trafficking, but he was found guilty on the prostitution stuff. He done already lost all his endorsements. Reputation is ruined. Only job left for you to get with prostitution charges is President of the United States of America.
He might get a Rico charge, but...
Party
turn this show, bro.
If this is a Rico charge, Negro is guilty.
Hey, man, the court of public opinion on this one. Hey, bro, you never said Frico charge?
No.
You better look at that camera and claim it as yours today.
He got the Frico charge.
Hey, man, but yeah, the court of public opinion, the Rico didn't happen, but as you would say, the Frico is going to happen,
Yeah,
bro.
and like I said, I've been to so many parties. Like I never, I can't judge people for what they do sexually in their bed. I could judge you for hitting a woman, but as a friend, I would pull them to the side and be like, yo, if I ever seen that, I'd be like, yo, you can't do that.
Yeah, man.
I don't know what people you got around you, but somebody got to sit you down. You can't do that.
By now, you know that Sean Diddy Combs has been convicted of interstate transportation of prostitutes, two counts, and has been denied bail. Although I really am concerned about the assaults against the women, particularly disrespecting black women as such, we must go with what he has been convicted of and respect the jury. And as I had predicted, he should be convicted after hearing and closing arguments of only the 2 counts of interstate transportation of prostitutes. We'll see in the future. Listen to us this next week on the Mathis verdict as we'll talk about the entire case and the sentencing. The sentencing guideline for a first-time offender is 21 months to 27 months for each count. We'll see whether they're consecutive, whether they're concurrent, or if he deviates from that first-time offender assessment or sentence, if you will.
A lot of us were not surprised about at all. So he was found not guilty of the racketeering charge. He was found not guilty of the trafficking. What he was found guilty of was the prostitution stuff, which after yesterday, right, and mind y'all, you talking about that racketeering charge, right? He would have been in jail for the rest of his life if he had been convicted of that. Now, yesterday when they were trying to figure out how they were going to instruct the jury, and Diddy's team was arguing heavily, right? They're like, look, we just need to give this jury more time. We don't want them to be pressured. We don't want to be involved too much. Like, we just want to give them more time. The reason why Diddy's team was so against the Allen charge, and the Allen charge is basically something where a judge is able to say to the jury, like, look, if we have to retry this again, there's going to be no jury that is smarter than you. Basically, like, we're going to have to do this all again, and they're going to get the same evidence. So we need y'all to figure this out. Diddy's team was so adamant yesterday that they did not, y'all, it's getting crazy outside of court because everybody's coming out. Diddy's team was adamant yesterday that they did not want that to happen because
weed, the better the thought. So, of course, y'all know I'm from Boston, right? I was born in Boston City Hospital, right? But my dad, whole entire side of the family is from New York. Very, very familiar with New York. Been going when I get shipped up to Coney Island projects, to where my grandmother lived, to Cedar and Fordham Road, to where my grandfather lived in the Bronx, Coney Island projects in Brooklyn. My father was born in Red Hook. All my aunts, uncles spread all over Queens, Bronx, Brooklyn. But I was born 3 hours, 95 north at Boston City Hospital, all right? My dad moved to Boston because he was doing this thing, you know. It's the only reason I would have been in New York. I would have been born in New York. I would have been a Yankee and Knicks fan. But it didn't go that way. We could thank Schnapps for that. But anyways, I sit back and I look at the history of hip hop and the history of New York and how at one point, New York, this was before the internet, of course, and I hope a lot of you youth are listening, you know, the new generation. New York was special. New York as a city was the greatest city, and arguably still is, but we're gonna talk about a few things on how I feel New York kind of let hip hop down and let this generation of New Yorkers down. New York, at one point, you had to get everything from New York. Fashion, not just hip hop. When hip hop was birthed in New York, it was dope. Like, niggas from the street battling each other. It wasn't too many, niggas wasn't killing each other like that over hip hop. You know what I'm saying? It was, you know, it was competition, but it was still respect. And it was still, though it was Queens, Bronx, you know, the boroughs divided New York as far as hip hop, but it still wasn't crazy. It wasn't like violent. It wasn't hate, death. It wasn't, you know, it just wasn't the way it is. It wasn't evil, all right? It was a dope scene. And if you was out of town, depending on how far you lived from New York, well, you was really out the loop. Now, if you lived within a decent amount of, space between New York and yourself, you could drive there and get everything you want. Go to Harlem, get the best weed, go to, in fashion, go down, fashion district, you know what I mean? Go down Delancey Street and Orchard, go get your goose. I mean, you had to go to New York to get the hottest shit. And so New York dictated everything. Fashion, New York dictated culture. All right, now, the artists of that day are nothing less than amazing. And there's so many of them, so when I start to name them, I'm leaving so many out, so I don't like naming, but you got to go back, man. Sugar Hill Gang and Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five, man, like Spoonie G, Tila Rock, Just Ice, KRS, like the list goes on and on and on. And these guys, man, are responsible. The Juice Crew, Shan, Shantae, Sparky D, Flavor Unit. Flavor Unit came a little later, but I'm still trying to stay way back in the day. Those are the ones, those are the pioneers. When we talk Kool Herc, we're talking how Kool Herc was a Jamaican. So Jamaicans was bringing sound systems out to the park. Jamaicans was doing that a lot. There wasn't a lot of American black people bringing their sound systems to the park like that. Well, in Miami, I know they was back in the day. But the Jamaicans introduced that, and then when the scratching came in, and there's different stories of who started it, but Jamaicans was doing different things with the turntables, and that's between the Puerto Ricans with the graffiti and breakdancing, right? Young black men was ripping the mic in groups, crews. New York was like Oz, man, when it comes to hip hop and just culture. Now you fast forward a little bit. In the 90s, that's when hip hop really started, the record companies started getting really real money with hip hop. The music started evolving, the sampling. New York was on point, but it was starting to get, you could see the disunity now. You could see like the beef. You could see like in 95, it just wasn't West Coast, East Coast at the Source Awards beefing. It was everybody. And, me and my man got a documentary coming out that's going to explain that. But beyond that, everybody had beef, okay? But all the other cities started getting their own vibe. Now, LA started really, LA was killing it with NWA, and as all the groups out there, and as they evolved, like they started making a name for themselves, pre-internet. The Midwest, Twister was doing his thing, and then, you got Bone Thugs coming up with this style, like that's Midwest is now like, wait a minute. So there are areas now that are getting their own thing together. The South, as New York was kind of being disunified, kind of breaking apart in the 90s, the South was unified. And look at how the South came up and kind of took that gold medal podium. New York's always been on the gold medal podium, and there's other people on the second and third one, the silver and bronze, but New York and hip hop always held that. The South started fucking with each other as groups, would go to each other's sessions, would support each other, show up. The whole group would show up. They might not even, though the group, let's say it was an event, the whole group, let's say it was a 5-man group, let's just say, the whole group would show up to watch somebody perform, a female from Atlanta. Atlanta, in the 90s, got together They were unified like it kind of was in New York in the 80s, in the late 70s. Atlanta took the formula and said, you know what? Our country asses want to get in this hip hop shit, but we want to show that it's just not about East Coast and New York. We in the mid 90s now. Andre got up on stage and said what he said. Wayne was killing it. Lil Wayne and Cash Money was just like, whoa. Jay Prince down in Texas was doing his fucking thing. I mean, the South, even though Texas, but it's Southwest. The point I'm trying to make is New York started disunifying. And that's what opened the lane up for the South to come in and basically just take it over. Now listen. The production transition had a lot to do with it. Whereas New York was heavy sampled and kind of like a slower BPM for niggas to gangster city street shit. I've been a part of that. That was my whole career. So believe me, I know. We didn't have songs to party. Our party was to get in the club and just mean mug. Remember, B-boy stance. You know what I'm saying? The South tempo, Miami's tempo was like, back then it was up. Niggas want to party. Miami, boom. You can understand, Miami's full of Caribbean people. They like to party. Tempo's up. That transcended it into their production. Atlanta started introducing the bounce, which probably came from Miami, then Atlanta. But Atlanta and Miami started making music, and now black women are stripping, but they're dancing to this new tempo music because they can dance to it, and everybody else is getting
Hey, it's your boy, James TV, man. We're back with another video for the channel. Man, oh man, it's getting difficult out here. It's getting tough. So, last night, the news was released that Diddy, P. Diddy, a.k.a. Sean Combs, a.k.a. Puff Daddy, he was arrested. We don't know what the charges are and indicted in New York by the feds, man. Now we know Diddy has a history of being alleged and alleged in some abuse allegations. He's been mentioned when it comes to trafficking and things like that of humans, and numerous lawsuits all across the board. There's some skepticism in the Biggie cases, and his name has been brought up in the Tupac assassination attempt, or the hit, or whatever have you. So we don't know what it really is and what he's being indicted with, but his name has been attached to allegedly some heinous acts and some very cold and calculating, shrewd type of moves, man. And, we don't know everything until all the facts come out, but it seems like it has been a downward spiral and a downhill battle ever since Cassie came out with the lawsuit, and he settled the very next day for the 30 mil or whatever have you, right? So then we get the video of him, beating Cassie up in the hotel. And I feel like that at that point was like, all right, that's all the proof we need. And they've been digging ever since, they went through, did the raids. They didn't say what they found. Everybody's like, oh, did he gonna flee the country? We seen him getting on the plane, this, that, and the third. And then, there was a rumor they turned himself in, but then they said he was arrested, so who knows. But we don't know what he charged with necessarily. Now, I need to go and I was trying to find articles to read up, but everybody's just saying the same thing. He was arrested and indicted by the feds. They don't say what the charges are just yet. And who's to know the charges in the docket is already released. But right now, Diddy arrested and indicted by the feds. Now, do I think it's some validity to this case? The feds don't go after nobody unless they have some type of concrete evidence. So I don't know, man. Same what happened to R. Kelly, you know, eventually, if you're doing something crazy, these things tend to catch up with you. And not to say that, you know, it's not people that are opportunists that are going to jump out there when they see money involved and things like that. But sometimes when you see smoke, it might be fire. And the feds don't come unless they got something. So, man, pray for that man kids, because, you know, they got to live with this. They got to go through it. He still got kids in high school. You know, his last time we seen the raid, the sons was in handcuffs with him. So it's like, I only think he was there. I think they was in handcuffs. But yeah, man. Yeah, that's cold blooded. It's a cold game, man. Dirty game too. So, you know, as long as, I mean, some things might have been overlooked, grease and palms, but you know, Fed is the entire United States versus whoever the individual is. So even if you're getting away with it in certain states and, you know, you greasing right palms, yeah, it's the Feds, brother. They don't really, you know, you gotta do them a couple of favors to get out of this one, if they allow it. But peace.